Hey guys, so today we're getting some CrossFit shots here of Leon, and you see I have the SmallRig cage here which we will test out. So it's a little review, but I'll also give you a few tips here to shoot shots at the gym. So Leon, what are you doing? You also have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes, so my name's Leon, so I actually help people stop drinking alcohol. My company is called SoberClear, and yeah, my YouTube channel is Sober Leon, and my new addiction is CrossFit. So yeah, we're gonna get some shots of that.
Awesome. So yeah, I would say let's go inside and get some shots. So at first I want to get a few establishing shots here of the location. I'm not exactly sure later how Leon will use the shots in the edit, so it's just good to have a few more shots of pretty much everything here at the gym later of him, but also some establishing shots. So that's what I'm doing now. So actually some of the best shots here. You have this nice backlight, mist effect. Then the dumbbells here, that's a really nice one to establish a location. A tip that I also want to give you is before you start shooting the video, think about the mood of it. Like usually I like this dark, moody gym shots, but here in Leon's case it's a different story. Like we want to show his kind of new life after a drinking past, and therefore it should be a bit brighter and vibrant. So it's actually quite good that we have a little bit more light here. Now what I mentioned before, that you have to think about the mood of the video before, does not just affect the lighting of course and the saturation and so on later, but it's also about your lens choices. Here I try to shoot the video completely on 24mm. Maybe I will get a few close-up shots later on a tighter lens, maybe 135 or so, but generally I want to shoot most of it at 24 because having that wider angle, even if I go close to objects, kind of gives a more free feeling, and I want to have this feeling into these shots here to really convey the mood of the video a little bit more. It's actually a bit weird looking through it to the monitor because I'm so used to that screen. I was first looking on that screen, but then I realized, hey, that screen is much better. That's just one of the first shots here to get started, to show how Leon starts or what does he do. It's also quite nice because the monitor is a bit higher than the lens. You always tend to shoot from the bottom. That always looks a bit nicer instead of shooting from the top, so you kind of automatically do it without thinking about it. It's great. Now we'll likely get some problems now because the light causes flicker, so we'll likely have to use a ND filter to lower the shutter speed. Now I added the mist base from Freewell, so we have the ND effect and the mist effect combined. Can't control here how much mist effect I want to have. A little bit of a bummer, but at least I get mist effect plus some ND so that I can compensate for the light flicker. Very important, white balancing. It's actually quite nice here is that we pretty much have backlighting everywhere. Light comes from there, from there, from there, a little bit from the top. So it's always like that we get backlighting no matter what angle I'm really in. It's quite good. It's not perfect though because it's quite even. There are not many shadows. This is usually the intention of backlighting, but at least having a light source behind him always makes the shot a bit nicer. Okay, I would say let's talk a bit about the cage that we use today for the Sony a7S III and the Ninja V from our sponsor SmallRig. I will leave the link to both products in the description. It's one of the first pro kit for the Sony a7S III cage, and then also the cage of the Ninja V plus the sunshade. You have to buy that extra, but I would definitely buy the sunshade with it because it's so nice to have. You don't get any reflections and so on, so you always have a clear image. Of course, it's even better if you're outside, so it protects you from the sun, but even inside I really enjoyed it. And aside from that, I actually enjoyed shooting with this cage a lot more than I thought because I usually try to be really small and lightweight, and to be honest, like when I do run and gun shooting for my travel videos and so on, and I would definitely not use this cage. But if I'm more on location as we've been here now, then I actually like having it because you have all this setup and it's so much more comfortable to shoot with it because it's really nice to hold. You have the Atomos Ninja V then, and also like sometimes when I get shots that are a bit lower, I can easily grab the top handle. What's also nice about the top handle here is that it has a hot or cold shoe mount here and also a cold shoe mount on the back. So if you want to mount anything else to it, then that's also possible. And the main cold shoe mount here that has this locking mechanism here, which is really nice because if you have the Ninja V on top or anything heavy, it's quite easy that it drops out of the cold shoe mount, and with this locking mechanism that doesn't happen anymore. So that's definitely a good security feature, but then you also have these clamps here, both on the a7Siii Ninja V cage and on the a7S3 cage, and they are for the HDMI cable, which I absolutely like because even my studio sometimes when I move it a little bit, I get dropouts in the HDMI signal easily, and so these clamps, they make everything a lot more stable. You don't need to worry anymore that your cable slightly pops out while you're moving the camera. So that's actually a really good reason to get a cage. And also another security feature here is regarding the SSD drive on the Ninja V. I don't even know what that's called in English, but you see, like you put it in front of the SSD and then it protects it from sliding out. So that's really nice. Actually, I use it all the time like that and it did not slip out or anything. So really secure. And then obviously the camera cage. You don't have to use it together with a side handle and the a7Siii and so on. You can also just use the cage alone, and that makes sense oftentimes actually because it protects your camera. So if you're that kind of person that sometimes drops the camera, then that's probably something to think about. And also nice about this cage is that it usually comes with a tool. It also came with a tool in my case, but I either forgot it in my bag or I lost it. I don't know, but there's usually this tool here that helps you to screw everything together, so that's nice to have. And this tool also comes with an Allen key that you can use to screw in that screw here, so I think that's a really good idea to fix it like that, because then there's no shake in the cage or so anymore. And then of course the second connector is under your camera, but that's what every cage does. But of course it's not all good about that cage. One downside that I must definitely mention here is that the top bar is actually pretty small. Now I have pretty small hands, so for me it's actually good, but if you're someone that has bigger hands like Daniel for example, then you probably notice that quickly that the top handle is quite small, so maybe then you would look into another top handle instead of that one. I think SmallRig has multiple ones. And another downside is actually regarding the tool. I mean, it's nice to have that tool, but it doesn't fit to all screws of the cage. I think it was at the top handle or side handle, I'm not sure anymore, but we had one screw there where we could not use the integrated tool, which kind of defeats its purpose, so that would be nice if SmallRig could upgrade that in the future. Okay, but these are really the only cons that I found about it. Aside from that, I can only say that SmallRig really thought it through, especially like the HDMI stuff, that really helps. So in the future, when I shoot more stationary, then I would definitely consider this cage. Also, by the way, this top handle, the wooden part, it's really nice like that as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. If yes, then please leave me a thumbs up and also consider subscribing. And usually I do more tutorial stuff here, so I will also link one here. If you're interested in that, watch it.